Hi everyone, welcome to Fulton at Work. I'm Tony Phillips, and on our show today, we'll take a look at the partnerships and efforts that have led to the recent renovation of the Burdett Tennis Center. We'll get a unique insider's view of efforts to provide assistance to county homeowners caught up in the nationwide mortgage crisis. And finally, we'll take a look at the Miracle League of South Fulton and their unique labor of love that enriches the lives of special needs youth. So when we come back, we'll take a look at a recent trip to the newly renovated Burdett Tennis Center and the exciting programming offered there. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Fulton at Work. We are here today at the Burdett Tennis Center, and we're fortunate to have with us Jewel Peterson of the Peterson School of Tennis. Thank you for being with us, Jewel. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Well, listen, we're excited to be here because there's some exciting things going on at the Burdett Tennis Center.
Yes.
But before we get to that, tell us a little bit about the history of the Burdett Tennis Center. How long has it been here? What's been going on here?
Right, it's been here for over 30 years.
Wow.
And the reason why I know that is because my father
Right.
was here for over 30 years.
Wow.
And doing a tennis program for kids. It originally started out as just having the kids just bring a few balls, and when you come, I'll teach you how to play.
Sure.
But the more they came, the more his passion grew
Sure.
for helping them,
Sure,
and
sure.
wanted to see them carry it through for years, so on. And so it became a tennis school shortly thereafter.
Okay.
And then for over 30 years, these courts have been here, and we've been here helping kids learn the game of tennis.
Fantastic. So Peterson School of Tennis has been around for quite some time.
Yes, it has.
So let's talk about the exciting things that are going on here today. As you can see, there's work going on here. Tell us, what is all this about? It looks like a lot of folks that are busy and working, and progress is being made. What's going on here?
Right, well, we are very fortunate to have these courts resurfaced.
Fantastic.
I'm really excited about it. Prior to the resurfacing, we had 8 courts.
Okay.
But after the resurfacing, we'll have 12 courts.
So it sounds like we're going to be able to utilize the same space and create some additional features utilizing the same space.
Exactly. And how are we going to be able to do that?
Right.
Where we're going to have 6 adult-sized courts, and then we're actually having youth courts put into the facility.
Now that's a really interesting concept. Talking to you before we got started, I know that that's a really unique thing. So what I'd like to do is see if we can maybe move over to the other side of the facility and kind of see these youth courts, which are really unique. So why don't we head over in that direction, and we can kind of talk about this special feature that's going to be added to the Burdett Tennis Center. So here's the part that I'm really excited about, and that's really unique to the Burdett Tennis Center. Tell us what's going on with the renovation as it relates to these youth courts.
Okay, great. And I'm really excited about it too.
Right.
What's happening is we are now going to have a 36-foot-inch courts. Normally courts are 78 feet.
Right.
So now we're looking at them being 36 feet.
Okay.
And that's a big difference. You know,
Sure, sure,
much
about half.
shorter, right, much shorter court. So
Right.
we're really excited about that. And that's just what the USTA is doing now. If kids were to compete, 10 and under children were to compete right now, they would have to play on a 36-foot size court.
Gotcha.
And so that's why we're really excited, is because, you know, we are doing what the USTA is doing. And any kid that comes in here and practices here, they'll be practicing on a court that they'll actually be competing on. So we're really excited about that.
That's really interesting because, you know, I know in a lot of other youth sports that typically younger kids, 10 and under, will play on a surface, a field, a court that's smaller than the adult-sized courts to give them a chance to be successful at a younger age. And it looks like that's the same thing that's now being applied to tennis.
Right, and it's really exciting. The USTA started talking about it and really started introducing it last year,
Sure.
and then this year it became a rule where all 10 and under children had to compete on 10 and under on the 36-foot court. And it's really great because the children are now going to have more success than they've had in the past.
Sure.
You imagine a child playing on an adult-sized court with adult-sized rackets
Exactly.
and a normal ball.
Exactly.
It becomes, you know, a little bit difficult to
Sure.
be successful. But
Well, some of us adults have a hard time on the adult-sized court. So,
exactly.
yeah, I can imagine for younger kids, 8, 7 years old, that this court would be a lot more feasible for them to be able to learn the game, learn the basics, and grow into the larger courts as they get older.
Exactly, and it's really cool because First Lady Michelle Obama is supporting
Wow.
this.
Okay.
There's some video out there of her on
Right.
the 36-foot inch court and just talking about its importance and how it helps children exercise and
Sure.
maintain healthy weights. And
Right.
so, it's really exciting because we're doing that too. Here in Fulton County, we can say at Burdett Tennis Center, we are all part of that.
Now, if I understand correctly, Jill, there just aren't a lot of these courts currently available. So that really makes this even more special in that if you go and look around, I don't think you'll find a lot of courts that are made specifically at that 36-foot length for kids.
Exactly. And I just have to say, USC and American Express, we definitely want to thank them for their support in doing this, and thank Fulton County for saying, yes, let's do it, and supporting the effort.
Sure.
Thank you so much for doing this for us. And so, yeah, definitely, we are on cutting edge, and when I tell you that this facility is one of the very few in the country, you can ask anyone, ask the USCA, it's not being done across this country just yet, and yet they want all facilities to look like our facility.
Fantastic.
So we're really excited.
So we're on the cutting edge. I noticed down here something kind of interesting because while we're talking about youth-size courts, I see that they also now have youth-size tennis rackets.
Yes.
And these are a good example of the rackets that are being used today. Tell us what's unique about these, Jill.
Well, it's really cool. If you look at this racket, it's 23 inches, and it's a typical racket for a 5, 6, 7, or even 8-year-old.
Fantastic.
Probably an 8-year-old would probably move up to a 25-inch racket.
Okay.
But this racket, obviously, it's lighter. You're able to control the ball a lot easier.
Sure.
I have some pictures where the racket is literally taller than me.
Right.
Because when I was coming on, we just didn't have
Didn't have youth rackets, exactly.
Right. And it's really cool, we're holding the new ball that they're using as well for the 10 and under. You probably see this used with the 5 and 6-year-olds.
Right.
The ball you're holding is used with the 8-year-olds and the 7-year-olds.
Okay.
But again, it's much bigger, it's lighter, it's going to move through the air a little bit slower, and again, they're going to be more successful, and that's what we want. We just, at the end of the day, we want children to come out and just exercise and have a healthy weight and nutrition and all that important.
And tennis is a great way to do that. I know through the years there may have been a misperception that tennis is not as accessible a sport as some of the other sports that are more commonly played. That's why it's so exciting, I think, to have this renovation in these youth courts here in the middle of this community, because it sends a message that tennis is for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There's a school right here.
Sure.
It's a middle school.
Sure.
And so when they come out, and I just want to say that these courts aren't just for, the 10 and under are using them.
Sure.
But anybody can get on them. And we do use them with our older kids, our middle school kids. We start them on these courts.
Sure.
Because they would be successful early.
Exactly.
And if they're running and moving, then that's what you want at the end of the day.
That's what you want to see.
They may not want to be pros, but these courts will be a court that all kids would love to hit on because they're going to be able to feel like a pro.
Feel like a pro. Exactly. Who knows? Maybe we find the next U.S. Open champion right here in South Fulton. If you live in this area, I want to encourage people to please come out and take advantage of the Burdett Tennis Center and the wonderful Peterson School of Tennis. And thank you for all that you guys have done here over the last several years. This is a great way to get our kids involved, keep them healthy. And so thank you for taking the time to be with us. We really appreciate it.
And thank you so much for all that you're doing.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Stay with us. When we come back, we'll go back to the studio to learn a little bit about mortgage help for homeowners in South Fulton. Stay with us. Welcome back to the studio. Our next guest is Ms. Rosemary Lawson Edge. Rosemary is a HUD certified housing counselor and was instrumental in a recent effort to provide assistance to Fulton County homeowners. Ms. Edge, thank you for being here. We certainly appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
So, talk to me. You are with the NID Housing Counseling Agency as a branch manager, correct?
That's correct.
Tell me a little bit about what NID does.
NID is a national certified housing counseling entity, and we are housed in California, and I have one of the 2 branches that's located in Atlanta, Georgia, and one in Albany, Georgia, and 34 altogether in the United States. So we're everywhere.
A little bit of everywhere.
A little bit of
so
everywhere.
I understand that you're also a HUD certified housing counselor, and what does that indicate?
That means that our our parent company is a HUD certified agency, a HUD certified entity, and we've all been trained and we've gone the extra mile to learn what we have to do through NeighborWorks and through other entities that offer training. So we're a little bit more than just counselors. We know and we are trained to the hilt.
So you guys have gotten additional training.
We've gotten additional training.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about the past several years. As many of us, all of us are probably aware,
Yes.
all over the country we've been dealing with a recession and the effects of that, which was led in large part by the mortgage industry or the crisis in the mortgage industry. So I understand there have been record numbers of foreclosures and things of that nature. Tell me what you've seen over the last 3 or 4 years.
There have been a record number of foreclosures in the United States. Unfortunately, Georgia is number 4 in foreclosures. We were number 3, but now we're number 4, and we're trying to get it right. As far as Fulton County is concerned, we're losing a great number of homes. We're losing thousands.
You know, I know at one point it was averaging nearly 2,000 foreclosures a month in Fulton County alone.
Yes.
And I don't know if that number has tapered off any, but we found a lot of homeowners that find themselves in crisis and not sure what they can do. If someone finds themselves in a situation where they're struggling to pay a mortgage and unable to do so, may find themselves laid off or unemployed, what's the first thing they should do?
Tony, the first thing they should do is very, very simple. Get in touch with your mortgage company. They want to hear from you. They want to know when you are having problems. The second thing is, if you receive mail from them, please open it. Please find out what they're trying to communicate with you. A lot of times they're actually trying to offer workouts. They're trying to offer help to the homeowners. But we find that they don't open them for 4 or 5 months. And by the time they open them, they're getting ready to face foreclosure.
Right. You know, I know that there's a psychological component to this for a lot of homeowners. It's depressing sometimes when you're in a tough situation and you have a family and maybe a home and you face a prospect of losing that home. Some people kind of back away and get a little bit of denial going on.
They get a little bit of denial, and then they always figure that, oh, I'll get it going next month. Oh, I can catch it up month after next, and then you're just digging a hole. If it's $1,500 this month, it's $3,000 next month. It's $4,500 a month after that. That's a big hole.
Right. So the first thing to do, it sounds like, is to be proactive.
Be very proactive. Your bank is can be your best friend.
Okay. So if you reach out to banks, oftentimes they're willing to try to put together a plan
Oftentimes
for
they're
you.
willing to try. They offer solutions. They sit down and see if this program can be worked out, if they have a program for you. And your bank will also tell you, get in touch with a HUD certified counselor.
So tell me, once I do that, I've reached out to my mortgage company, I'm not quite able to work out something, then I come to a HUD certified housing counselor, and what happens then?
Well, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take a look at your finances. We're going to go over your finances with you, and we're going to see where it is that you may be able to cut back. We also help you, well, we encourage you to make arrangements with your other creditors to see if you can lower some of your payments to them. And then after we get that, then we go to the bank and we say, look, we've done all of this. We've gotten concessions with credit cards. We've gotten a new budget. We've cut out some things. Let's see if we can't work this out.
Now, does being contacted by a HUD certified housing counselor often make the bank more willing to at least have the conversation about how to work this out?
Yes, it does. That shows the bank that you are aware of your situation and you want to correct it. And you're willing to work and you're making strides toward correcting this and paying. The very first thing they say to you is, I am a debt collecting agency. That's the very first thing we hear.
Certainly.
That is what they do. They want to collect the debt. But they also don't want your house. They really want you to stay in your house, but you have to pay.
Certainly, certainly. Now, speaking of banks, there was a recent event that you were key in putting together that came to South Fulton that brought a lot of banks into the community to try to do this very thing. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, in April, we had we called it a financial workshop. We didn't call it a foreclosure solution or anything, because we really did a financial workshop because we asked for some people who were what you call underwater. Underwater is when you owe more on your house than your house is actually worth. They're refinancing entities that you can use, and there are banks that are willing to do refinancing. And a lot of people get caught up in the, well, my bank won't refinance me. Go to another bank. You're not tied into just your bank. Shop around the same way you get your first mortgage. Shop around for your refinance. There are a lot of banks that will help you. We also had people to come to us who brought letters from 4 and 5 months. They never even opened. They wanted to know, what do I do? And I said, the first thing, let's see what's going on in these letters. Let's read the mail.
Right.
And after that, we had some wonderful banks. We had Wells Fargo and Bank of America came down and brought that traveling team. The traveling team is a little bit better than the local team. No offense to the local teams now, but they were able to make decisions and give them solutions almost right on right on the spot. We had Chase that was there.
Exactly.
We had HBSC, and we had a newcomer that we've been trying to court for a little while, which is SunTrust. They showed up and brought us 2 fantastic ladies, and we always look good when we have the home team.
Certainly, certainly. Well, I had a chance to stop by on that day, and it was really exciting to see a room full of these banks all sitting there with multiple staff members, sitting there for the entire afternoon, helping homeowners, trying to make negotiations and help people to stay in their homes. And so we're hopeful that maybe this is something that can happen again in the near future. So do you have plans to possibly do this again?
We have plans to do this again in September. Okay. You know, with the help of Fulton County, of course. We will be offering we know how to do it now. Certainly. You know, once you do the first one, you know all the mistakes and all the running around, and we got it down now. But I must say, I had a fantastic assistant, a young lady who came in and took over by the name of Ray Pollard. Ray and the banks are on first name basis. Fantastic. She now has contacts that she talks to whenever we try to have anything, and I plan to utilize Ray and all of her contacts. She's a great person. She really was the motor who drove this train.
Well, it's always good to have a good team around you. I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come and talk with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for partnering with the county and with homeowners in South Fulton for the good work that you do, and hopefully we can see that continue in the near future.
I want to say one other thing. We are located in the South Fulton Center now to help people in South Fulton, and we also have an office in the North Fulton Service Center. Okay. So if you're near either one of those and you are a Fulton County employee, please stop by and see us.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Up next, we'll take a heartwarming look at the Miracle League of South Fulton. Stay with us. Welcome back. Our final guest is Dr. Ronald Talbert, Director of the Red Oak Animal Hospital and one of the key organizers for the Miracle League of South Fulton. Dr. Talbert, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come sit down and talk with us. I'm really glad to have you here with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about Red Oak Animal Hospital first. That's one of the key businesses in South Fulton. It's been there quite some time.
Well, we opened the business back in 1988. I started out as doing house calls, large animal work, and whatnot. We eventually found a building to operate out of. I've been there since 1988. We serve most of South Fulton. I'm on the board of the Fulton County Animal Services.
Certainly.
Okay, and also as accredited veterinarian, I'm asked by the state on occasion to do work outside the office.
Well, I know everybody in South Fulton in that area is familiar with the Red Oak Animal Hospital, so it's good to have you with us. What I wanted to talk to you about today, though, is another fantastic effort that you are really key and involved in, and that's the Miracle League of South Fulton. For those who may not know about the Miracle League and the wonderful work that you guys do there, first tell everybody, what is a Miracle League?
Well, Miracle League is actually a national organization. So they have chapters all over the country, and one of them in Puerto Rico. What we do is we partner with children with special needs. They can be in wheelchairs, have muscular dystrophy. My son in particular has autism. But basically what we try to do is pair them up with a normal child, help them run bases, to hit the ball, to field the ball, and actually try to get them involved in group sports, which is more difficult than you could imagine when you're talking about children with mental disabilities, because they don't know what a group sport is.
Right.
So we got to give them a reason to play.
Certainly.
Okay.
So in the instance of the Miracle League of South Fulton, I was very fortunate that I've been able to attend a game and kind of witness this really wonderful event take place. But it's actually a baseball game played indoors.
Exactly.
And each player has the buddy that you referenced. So how does a baseball game actually unfold with these special needs kids? Because I saw some kids in wheelchairs, some kids with other special needs, but the one thing I saw in everybody was a smile on their face.
Oh yeah, they have a good time. But basically, everybody gets to bat. Okay, there are no outs. Normally at the end of the game, it's a tie. Okay, but we try to make sure that every child gets to run the base, gets to hit. If they can't hit, we assist them. Okay, and in addition, we'll have sometimes cheerleaders on the side. We're playing music. Someone's on the microphone saying, you know, introducing the players and trying to make them feel real good. And when they come across home base, everybody cheers.
Well, I can tell you, having been involved with youth activities for some time, it is rare to see children just having such unbridled fun. I mean, they were literally, the game I was at, they were just laughing and smiles and thoroughly enjoying themselves. Now, one thing I found interesting, Dr. Talbot, was I saw some young men there who were there to assist. It looked like they were from one of the local high schools, had brought in the football team, and you've got these young, healthy, strapping young men who are taking time out to come and help with the Miracle League. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it kind of goes both ways. Occasionally, we can get volunteers from either Banneker or Westlake, these guys on the football team or the basketball team. And they'll come out and assist the players in running and catching and this kind of thing. You need to understand, too, that it goes both ways. It's not just the kids having the fun. It's the parents being proud of them, and it's an actual learning experience because it makes the public more aware of what type of children are in their midst. A lot of people don't even know what autism is, what Down syndrome is, what muscular dystrophy is. Those young men that came out and assist, they know now.
They now know.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, and that, like you said, it's a two-way street. So I believe those young men got a lot out of that as well.
Yes, they did.
Let's talk a little bit about a Miracle League field. I understand there's one in the metro area in Douglas County. And what is a Miracle League field? Because right now, Miracle League of South Fulton plays inside of the Welcome All Gymnasium. But we hope one day to have a Miracle League field. So tell us what that is.
Well, we're not just hoping, we're dreaming about it. We began this process probably over 7 years ago. And until recently, I guess in the last couple of years, what we tried to do is get more organized, get a board together. We incorporated. We recently filed for 501(c)(3) nonprofit status. Being a part of the national gave us an insight onto what to do to acquire the field. But basically, the baseball field for Miracle League is a much smaller field, first of all. It has a hard rubberized surface that can accommodate wheelchairs, people that have support aren't able to walk as well. It's a non-slip surface. It can be built outside so it can play outside. And going along with this, the bleachers are also put in, and there's usually a playground area that's associated with this. So basically, if we could get this field built, this would probably be our greatest achievement, and you know, it's something that we've been dreaming for a long time. We've actually put forth some requests with the county and with the commissioner, and hoping he's been supporting us and encouraging us to do whatever we can do. And I guess the thing we were trying to do is to make sure that they understand that we're going to do everything that we can do.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's a dream worth having, and it's something that hopefully will make a reality. If people want to support the Miracle League or want more information, how can they get in touch with the Miracle League of South Fulton? Well,
we have a post office box right now, and that's Post Office Box 937, Red Oak, Georgia, 30272. They can also give me a call. You can call me at my office at 404-767-8513. Also, you can also contact us on by email at drtalbinc@aol.com.
Well, having had the chance to witness one of the games and to be there, I just want to personally thank you for the work that you do. It's truly something special and unique. Not everybody takes the time to do that. And so for you and all of the volunteers that work with the Miracle League of South Fulton, we just want you to know that we appreciate the work that you do. I know that the youth and their families appreciate it, but thank you very much, and thank you for being here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for having us. Well, that wraps up our time, but not our conversation. Email us with your questions or comments about today's show. The email address is fgtv.feedback@fultoncountygeorgia.gov. Thanks so much for joining us today on Fulton at Work. And remember, in every community, there's work to be done. In every heart is the power to do it. I'm Tony Phillips. We'll see you next time on Fulton at Work.